How Democrats can steal the spotlight from Trump. Editors note the opinions in this article are the authors, as published by our content partner, and do not necessarily represent the views of MSN or Microsoft. Last weekend, Democrats lost control of the political narrative to President Donald Trump and the Republicans. And they will have to work. It went like this when reporters learned that Special Counsel Robert Mueller had submitted the results of his inquiry into Russian interference in the 2016 election, and would not be issuing any more indictments. Republicans crowed that it was a victory for Trump. And on late Sunday afternoon, Attorney General William Barr finally released his report summary, which acknowledged that Mueller had not exonerated the president of obstruction of justice, and the Republican celebration continued. Trump went into overdrive, treasonous, and said there would be investigations into how this all unfolded. He pointed to that, his supporters yelled. Even though nobody other than the Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General has seen the report, newspaper headlines, website banners and television cheer-ins along with Trump's Republican colleagues immediately echoed his version. But spin is what it was. The entire episode was a lesson for Democrats about how good Trump and the Republican Party can be when they put their minds to it at swaying the political narrative in the era of 24-hour, instantaneous news. One thing it is a dazzling act, when one considers the many questions the Barr letter leaves on the table. Foremost, the Attorney General confirmed that the Russians did intervene in the 2016 election, a claim that Trump has often been hesitant to make or has denied. Second, finally, Barr wrote that Mueller did not make a final determination about whether the president had obstructed justice and left that to others to decide. Mueller would not. Democrats have much to work with here. The good news for them is this move quickly offered Democrats a reminder of how they can push the national conversation in a direction that would benefit them public policy. On many key issues, in fact, the Democrats are on much stronger footing than the GOP. Majorities of America outside of very red districts in conservative states, large portions of the population stand by the party of FDR. Keeping the Nationals with their base in the House, Democrats can also offer an alternative against Trump's "everything has gone my way" story by continuing their serious oversight investigations into the White House. Rather than closing up shop for fear that they would reignite the political backlash Republicans faced in the late 1990s after they impeached President Bill Clinton, Democrats today would benefit by continuing to ask hard questions. They can legislate, from answering what appears to be Mueller's open-ended question about obstruction of justice to looking into Trump's ongoing potential conflict of interest issues, to probing alleged criminal activity within the campaign. Congressional Democrats can make sure that Americans don't lose sight of the "it has pointed to broader" that would make Richard Nixon blush. To regain control of the national conversation and stay clear of Trump's spin, the slate of Democratic presidential candidates, along with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, will also need the discipline to react less to the president. Trump's most potent weapon is his ability to trigger America's political class. He makes it difficult, and that's what happened this weekend with the Barr letter. But Democrats don't. They need to look to some of the younger voices in the party, such as Republic. Alexandria. Democrats need to take a lesson from newly energized Republicans. Rather than spending.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up in the park pot.